You walk into a crowded room, and before a single word leaves your lips, you have already rehearsed your entire existence. Your posture shifts by a millimeter to appear more relaxed, your facial expression is carefully calibrated to strike the exact balance between approachable and unbothered, and your breath is held somewhere in the upper reaches of your chest. To everyone else, you look like a masterpiece of quiet composure, blending effortlessly into the hum of ambient conversations and polite laughter. But beneath that polished veneer, a quiet execution is taking place. You are not simply participating in the room, you are standing trial, and the jury is seated in the eyes of every stranger passing by. Every glance thrown in your direction feels less like a casual look and more like a verdict, a silent measurement of your worth, your adequacy, and your right to occupy space. You have traded your own internal compass for a distorted mirror, allowing the shifting opinions of the outside world to define the boundaries of your reality. Over time, the self you once knew, the messy, unpolished, authentic core of your identity, has faded into the background, leaving behind a hollow shell that performs a life rather than living it. This silent imprisonment does not happen overnight. It creeps in through the subtle conditioning of needing to belong, until survival becomes synonymous with pleasing. You remember a time when your happiness was measured by the quiet moments of solitude, the books you read without caring who saw you, the thoughts you entertained without filtering them through the lens of public acceptability. But somewhere along the way, the volume of external judgment grew deafening. Now, every choice you make is haunted by phantom spectators. When you buy clothes, you do not ask yourself if the fabric brings you comfort, you ask how it will be perceived. When you share an opinion, your mind instantly races ahead to calculate the subtle shifts in posture or expression from your listeners, bracing for the silent rejection that feels like a physical blow. You have become an alien in your own skin, constantly monitoring your thoughts from a detached distance, treating your mind like a courtroom where you are forever the defendant, the prosecutor, and the guilty party all at once. The exhaustion of this constant surveillance is unlike any physical fatigue. It is a profound, soul-deep weariness that sleep cannot cure, because even in the dark of your bedroom, the audience in your head never turns off the lights. You replay conversations from 3 years ago, dissecting a misplaced laugh or an awkward pause, torturing yourself with the conviction that everyone else remembers your flaws with the same microscopic precision that you do. The tragedy of living for the gaze of others is that the target is always moving. What is praised today is criticized tomorrow, and in trying to appease every passing expectation, you abandon the only thing that could ever anchor you, your own voice. You find yourself trapped in a labyrinth of overthinking, where every hallway looks identical and every turn leads back to the same paralyzing question: who am I when nobody is watching? The terrifying answer is that you no longer know. The silence that follows that question is deafening, filled with the ghosts of preferences you adopted to fit in, ambitions you pursued to impress, and emotions you suppressed to remain palatable. You have built an entire life out of other people's expectations, only to realize that the house has no foundation, and the rooms inside are entirely empty. You sit alone with your coffee in a bustling cafe, watching the rain streak down the glass, and you feel an immense, crushing distance between yourself and the world. People are laughing, talking, and moving with a terrifying lightness, while you carry the weight of 1,000 invisible judgments on your shoulders. You wonder how they do it, how they manage to exist without feeling like they are constantly on the verge of being exposed as a fraud, a failure, or an outsider. You look at your phone, scrolling mindlessly through feeds designed to measure human worth in likes and validation, searching for a crumb of certainty to quiet the storm inside, knowing all too well that digital applause is just another cage painted to look like freedom. The heavy truth of this condition is that the prison door has been unlocked from the inside all along, yet the habit of captivity has become your only familiar comfort. To step away from the podium, to drop the defense and let people misunderstand you, feels less like liberation and more like a freefall into total annihilation. Because if you are no longer the person they think you are, who are you to yourself? The thought of being unliked, unapproved, or misunderstood terrifies you more than the slow suffocation of playing a role, so you tighten the mask, straighten your posture, and step back into the spotlight of a world that does not even notice your internal bleeding. You nod at the right moments, offer the expected smile, and silently scream behind your teeth, waiting for a rescue that can never come from the outside. The overthinking coils tighter around your lungs, whispering that one wrong move, one genuine expression of your raw, uncurated self, will result in permanent banishment from the human tribe. And so the cycle continues, day after relentless day, trading your soul for a fleeting moment of social safety, slowly starving to death on a diet of other people's opinions. Yet, beneath the exhaustion and the fear, there is a tiny, bruised ember that refuses to go out entirely. It is the quiet ache of authenticity, the faint remembrance of what it felt like to exist without apology, before you learn to measure your worth in the currency of external approval. You begin to realize, with a chilling clarity, that the heaviest burden you have carried is not the judgment of the world, but your own desperate complicity in it. No one else has sentenced you to this life of endless performance, You built the courtroom, you wrote the charges, and you tied the blindfold around your own eyes. The realization doesn't bring immediate relief. Instead, it settles over you like a heavy, cold fog, demanding a stillness you are not yet brave enough to embrace. You stare at your reflection in the dark window of the room, recognizing the stranger staring back with tired eyes, and for the first time in as long as you can remember, you stop trying to fix the expression. You let the smile drop. You let the shoulders sink. You let the silence stretch out, heavy and unbroken, acknowledging the quiet wreckage of a life spent seeking permission to exist. You spent your whole life waiting for their applause, only to realize the theater was empty all along.